Animals or plants seen in their natural habitat. So I wanted to take a minute to explain why I have given this lesson the title In the Wild. It's because sometimes you see things, and maybe if you see an animal at a zoo, that's not the same as seeing it in its natural habitat. That's not the same as seeing it in the wild. So when I was walking outside on my property the other day, I was noticing a lot of things out in the wild. It doesn't mean I live in the jungle or the forest. It just means outside. It's kind of a fun phrase to say that. But I do want to explain that we use it in a funny way as well. We use it when we are seeing a person outside of their normal environment, and it's a very informal phrase. So here's Matt Damon. Someone must have seen him out in the wild and took a picture of him. Students sometimes will use this phrase. If a student sees me at the grocery store, if a student sees me at the shopping mall, they might say to a friend later, "Oh, I saw Bob the Canadian in the wild. I saw him at the shopping mall. He's a real person." So anyways, there is a funny version of the phrase, but let's get to the core of this lesson. Here we go. Weeds. Jen and I are always shocked at how quickly weeds start to grow in the spring. So a weed is a plant that you don't want. When you have a garden, you plant the plants you want, you put seeds in the ground, and then other plants just randomly grow. And they're weeds. We don't want them. They are things that we pull out. I imagine every part of the world has slightly different kinds of weeds. But yes, number one, weeds. And I do want to mention that almost all of the words this morning are plural and end in S, because that's how we talk about things in general. I saw a lot of weeds outside. I saw some snails. There were puddles. There were squirrels and wheelbarrows and rakes. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So you'll notice the singular is, of course, weed. There was a weed, but I'm going to be using the plural for everything because it's how we naturally talk about stuff. Worms. So I went for a walk the other day, and it was raining a little bit. And when it rains, the worms come out of the ground. And I noticed along the side of the road, there were a lot of worms. I am not someone who goes fishing, but if I was someone who went fishing, that would have been a good time to collect worms. Now, of course, worms are these wriggly, kind of slimy. Like if you touch them, they're slimy. It's not nice to touch a worm. And they wriggle through the ground. And I think they eat organic matter and they make the soil better. So worms, we also sometimes call them earthworms. Buds. So the trees have buds. Some of the trees have blossoms. So buds are kind of this little tiny green part of the tree before it opens and becomes a leaf or a blossom. So when you walk around right now, there's no shade under the trees. The sun can shine right through because there are only buds so far. There are no leaves yet on the trees. Blossoms. So I'm not sure what part of the world you live in, but there are some places where there are cherry blossoms or apricot trees that have blossoms. Blossoms are tiny, tiny flowers, usually found on a tree or bush, although we use it in other ways as well. But generally, if you were to say, oh, you should go to Washington, D.C., the cherry trees are blossoming. There are a lot of blossoms on the trees. And the cool thing with blossoms is it usually smells really good too when you see a lot of blossoms. It's a fun word to say, by the way, blossoms. Long grass. So I searched and searched for a guy mowing his lawn where he let the lawn go for too long. I would say that's the phrase we would use. He should have mowed this long grass a couple of weeks ago or more. Now he's out there with his push mower. I hope it's going well. But when we see a lawn and we think, oh, it needs to be mowed, we often say that there's long grass. We sometimes say tall grass. You might think that would be more common, but often we will say things like, oh, your grass is getting long. Well, there's a lot of long grass in the backyard. It needs to be mowed. So one of the things you will see out in the wild at this time of year is long grass. And then, of course, lawnmowers. Let's zoom in on this one. Another picture of someone mowing down some long grass with a lawnmower. Those words are very similar, aren't they? Long grass, lawn mower. So hopefully you can hear the difference there. Again, we call this a push mower. I think in my professional opinion, that's the wrong mower for the job. There are a lot of things I'm not good at. I have a lot of experience cutting lawn, and if I was to cut this lawn, I would be trying to find a much bigger lawnmower. But there are, yes, lots of lawnmowers out there at this time of year. And then puddles. Now, I noticed the other day, I was walking outside and there were puddles, and I was wearing a pair of Crocs, which normally, if the water's only this deep, Crocs are fairly waterproof, but I think my Crocs have a hole in the bottom. If you don't know what Crocs are, you'll have to search that up online. It's kind of a plastic pair of shoes that you can put on quickly. I wouldn't actually call them shoes, like footwear. We'll call them footwear. And I stepped in a really shallow puddle. So you can have a deep puddle or a shallow puddle. And my foot got wet. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting that to happen. But yes, definitely outside right now, there are a lot of puddles.